Hi, Tom Lydon with ETF Trends here in Washington, D.C. at the Charles Schwab Institutional Conference, here with Mannik Dhillon, who's president of VictoryShares. Great seeing you, Mannik.
Good to see you as always.
So, as advisors here are thinking about wrapping up 2018, from your perspective, what do they need to think about regarding the markets?
I think one thing is always important in investing and building portfolios is diversification. So you can't lose this opportunity that we've seen lately to probably step back and look at where maybe there are some opportunities from a valuation perspective, factor diversification perspective, and maybe just a different way of doing things, active versus passive and things like that.
Yeah, so you mentioned factors, factor investing, even multi-factor investing is becoming more and more popular. We're seeing flows there, but we also get a sense that maybe some investors are factor chasing. Let's talk about that and what does that do to a portfolio?
Well, anytime you're chasing performance, that's a bad outcome in the end, right? Yeah. The past is the past for a reason. It's not going to necessarily repeat. It might look similar.
Yeah.
It's important to understand why something performed the way it did in the past, good or bad. And from there, you can make that judgment in the future. So for example, we've been in a period where momentum has done really well. Well, what are the odds that that continues to happen? And we've seen some of that shake out in terms of some of the major cap-weighted indices and so forth, but don't let that be the only decision factor. It's just an input.
Yeah, and where value's gotten beat up.
Exactly.
But during times that we've seen in the last few months with volatility, a lot of people wish they had that allocation, right?
Right, and that's what goes back to diversification. You don't want to be all or nothing either. I'm not saying be all out of momentum, for example, but you want to make sure that you're diversified from all aspects, geography, cap, factors, types of companies, right, from an industry or sector perspective. That's how do you get through any challenging period or even good periods.
We all know from 10 years ago, going through a bear market, the average advisor had to sit down with clients and over a period of almost 24 months do a lot of hand-holding about why they needed to keep their clients invested. As we look at maybe history repeating itself, maybe not to that degree, and we get into 2019, you folks have a suite of volatility-weighted strategies. Talk about that a little bit and what that could do for advisors.
So their play on diversification, essentially saying, take a basket of profitable companies, weight them based on their risk, which is pretty intuitive at the end of the day, to create a diversified exposure. So what that allows you to do is diversify away from the largest, most mega cap companies that are the ones that we're really watching every day on screen, right?
Yeah.
And do it in a risk-aware way. And so what that does is say, get that benefit without sacrificing risk, because then you could go to other parts of your portfolio and use that risk in a better place perhaps, maybe emerging markets or international small cap, things like that.
Well, if people were to find out more, they can go to your website, and that is?
VictoryShares.com.
VictoryShares.com. And again, you folks have done a great job educating investors and advisors, but I think even more importantly, as we look at 19, some of these strategies may have to come into play.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you.
It was good seeing you.